Good morning, America, for our viewers in the West. 12 days to go. Overnight, Kamala Harris taking questions from voters at a town hall and responding after Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a man Trump once praised, said he believes the former president fits the definition of a fascist.
Certainly an authoritarian, admires people who are dictators.
Now Trump lashing out at Kelly while making allegations about early voting. Plus,
one dot makes a difference.
Which state could determine the presidency, the House and the Senate?
Election security. An arrest in connection with 3 shootings at the Arizona Democratic office. The suspect had 250,000 rounds of ammo, scopes, body armor, and more. What police say he may have been planning. Plus a cyber attack foiled in Georgia aimed at the state's absentee voter website. And the Justice Department now warning Elon Musk.
You know where he is now? He's working in Pennsylvania, trying to get us lots of votes.
That his daily $1 million giveaway to registered voters could violate election law.
The number of cases in McDonald's deadly E. coli outbreak expected to grow.
Hello, can I get a quarter pounder, please?
And we find out what happens when you try to order one.
A closer look at the death of One Direction star Liam Payne.
The story of my life.
His father on the scene of his son's death, and his girlfriend Kate's emotional tribute.
Decision time for the Menendez brothers. The LA District Attorney almost ready to announce if he will recommend resentencing.
Rollbacks, where you can get an inflation-free Thanksgiving meal. Plus, where to save right now on the toys on your little one's list.
And the Oscar winner behind the songs instantly bringing us back. This morning, how Steven Spielberg, J.J. Abrams, Ron Howard, and more are uniting behind the scenes with music legend John Williams. Plus, a centenarian sprinter dashing into our hearts.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
This is Good Morning America, and we appreciate you starting your Thursday with us.
We sure do. We also have a lot of breaking news from Boeing overnight.
We begin with the race for the White House. Vice President Harris took part in a primetime town hall last night. She called Donald Trump a fascist who fans the flames of hate, following on the warnings of former Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley and retired Marine General John Kelly, who both said Trump fits the definition of a fascist. The former president lashed out at Kelly, his longest-serving White House chief of staff, who also said that Trump praised Adolf Hitler and wants to rule like a dictator.
Our team across the country with 12 days to go. Rachel Scott is in Atlanta, tracking Trump. Jon Karl in Nebraska on the impact of the pivotal state. Aaron Katursky on election security concerns. And our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, starts us off in Philadelphia. Good morning to you, Mary.
Robin, good morning. Well, in these final days, Kamala Harris is really ramping up her argument that she thinks Donald Trump is unfit and a danger to democracy. Harris saying flatly overnight that she thinks Donald Trump is a fascist. But when pressed by undecided voters to define her positions and her policies, she often turned instead to defining Donald Trump, eager to make clear to voters the stark choice they're now facing. Overnight at a town hall in Pennsylvania, Vice President Kamala Harris saying she agrees with Donald Trump's longest-serving chief of staff, retired 4-star Marine General John Kelly, when he says Trump fits the definition of a fascist.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted.
Kelly telling the New York Times Trump repeatedly praised Adolf Hitler, that he puts personal loyalty above loyalty to the Constitution, and that he has an affinity for dictators, claims that the former president's campaign has denied.
Certainly, the former president is in the far right area. He's certainly an authoritarian, admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
The vice president warning that if Trump returns to the White House, people like General Kelly won't be there to stand up to him.
I think of it as he's just putting out a 911 call to the American people. Understand what could happen if Donald Trump were back in the White House. And this time, we must take very seriously those folks who knew him best and who were career people are not going to be there to hold him back.
Harris facing questions from undecided voters after Trump declined the invitation to a second debate. Alone on stage, Harris at times finding herself on the defensive.
When you talk about rich people paying their fair share, the really high earners may move their money offshore. If there are disincentives in the U.S., this could impact the economy. I would like to hear more nuts and bolts about your economic plans.
Sure. Thank you, Pam. So first of all, it is the case in the United States of America that billionaires on average pay less taxes as a percentage than teachers and firefighters and nurses.
I'm talking about hard workers like pound the street, have some success.
Yes, no, I understand, but I want to just let's set the scene, right?
Yeah.
So when I say that the richest among us need to pay their fair share, I am referencing that, and I need to reference that because sadly, Donald Trump, when he was president, gave tax cuts to the richest, to billionaires and big corporations.
And on immigration, she was pressed about her plan, a bipartisan compromise bill which includes $650 million set aside under Trump to build some border wall.
You don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
With the election just days away, Harris repeatedly bringing the conversation back to her opponent.
He's going to sit there unstable, unhinged, plotting his revenge, plotting his retribution, creating an enemies list. I'm going to tell you, my list will be a list of how I address and continue to address the issues that you all are raising.
And the Harris campaign has now announced that next Tuesday, exactly 1 week from Election Day, she'll be giving a major address, her closing argument to voters in Washington at the exact same site where Donald Trump addressed his supporters on January 6th. But first today, Harris will be down in Georgia for a big Get Out the Vote rally with some big names like Bruce Springsteen, Tyler Perry, and former President Barack Obama. George.
Mary Bruce, thanks. Former president was campaigning in Georgia. Let's go to Rachel Scott in Atlanta with the latest on the Trump campaign. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning from Battleground, Georgia. This state already seeing record numbers of early voting. Former President Donald Trump did not mention those explosive allegations from his own former chief of staff while campaigning in this state, but he did take to social media to respond for the first time. This morning, Donald Trump taking his closing message out west as he lashes out at his own former chief of staff, John Kelly, who called him a fascist with no concept for the rule of law or the Constitution. Trump taking to social media to call Kelly a, quote, lowlife and a bad general, despite expressing confidence in him in the past.
General Kelly will go down in terms of the position of chief of staff, one of the great ever.
The former president denying firsthand accounts from Kelly, who told the New York Times Trump praised Nazi leader Adolf Hitler.
He commented more than once that, that Hitler did some good things too. Well, I tell him that. I said, first of all, you should never say that. But if you knew what Hitler was all about from the beginning to the end, everything he did was in support of his racist, fascist life, philosophy, so that nothing he did you could argue was good.
Trump barnstorming Georgia, but he didn't say a single word about those explosive allegations.
And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Instead, he attacked Vice President Kamala Harris's mental fitness and repeated false claims about Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, suggesting the issue helps him politically.
It's only good if you are a politician thinking about running for office and running against them.
With the election just 12 days out, 24 million Americans around the country have already voted early, more than 2 million here in Georgia. Trump pushing baseless claims suggesting early voting is not secure, even as he urged his supporters to turn out.
Just get out and vote. Be a little careful. Make sure your vote gets counted. There are ways of doing that, too.
And the former president lavishing praise on billionaire Elon Musk, who is spending millions of dollars in battleground states to support Trump.
He gave me the most beautiful, you know where he is now? He's working in Pennsylvania, trying to get us lots of votes.
But Musk is under scrutiny for his promise to give $1 million to registered voters who sign his political organization's petition. he's already handed out 4 checks.
Every day from now until the election, we're giving out $1 million prize.
Sources tell ABC News the Justice Department has sent a letter warning Musk that his giveaway may violate federal law against paying voters. And Pennsylvania is one of those states where Elon Musk has handed out some of those checks. The governor of that state did suggest that law enforcement should be looking into this. As for Trump today, he heads out west to Nevada and Arizona, Michael.
Rachel, thank you so much. And Nebraska could have a huge impact on this election. There's a chance it could decide the next president and control of the House and Senate, with both chambers so narrowly split. Our chief Washington correspondent, Jon Karl, is in Omaha with more. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Michael. We don't usually think about Nebraska as a battleground state, but this year it does have the potential to be a decisive factor in a race for the White House and even for the battle over which party controls the House of Representatives and the Senate. Nebraska is Republican territory, but here in Omaha, the state's biggest city, Democrats outnumber Republicans, a blue dot in a sea of red. And because Nebraska divides its electoral votes, that blue dot, along with its one electoral vote, could be the deciding factor in the presidential election. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz know that.
One dot makes the difference.
And so does Donald Trump.
I would love to get that vote. And to the people of Omaha, please be nice to me.
And it's not just the race for the White House. In the battle over control of the House of Representatives, one of the top targets for Democrats is Republican Don Bacon, who represents Omaha. He has Trump's endorsement, but he'll need Democratic votes to win, so he's keeping his distance.
Would it help you for Trump to be here if he's unpopular in your district?
You know, I think it would help in some ways, hurt in some ways, and I don't worry about things I can't control.
So you're not asking him to come out to campaign for you?
I just accept. I accept whoever comes out. I'll try to work with them. That's what I do.
And in one of the year's most surprising developments, Republican Senator Deb Fischer is suddenly facing a tough challenge nobody saw coming from independent candidate Dan Osborne. He's a Navy veteran, blue-collar worker, and political novice. Republicans are now spending millions of dollars attacking Osborne, portraying him as a liberal Democrat who is disguising himself as an independent. Osborne's response to the onslaught of negative ads has gone viral.
This is why people hate politics. This makes you want to cut your TV in half.
If Osborne wins, he's going to have to decide whether or not to caucus with the Democrats or the Republicans. That decision could single-handedly determine which party controls the Senate. He hasn't said what he's going to do. Later today, I am going to interview him, ask him that question and many others. It will be the very first time he has ever done a network interview. George?
Okay, great. Jon Karl, thanks very much. There are election security threats in Georgia and Arizona. An arrest was made in connection with 3 shootings at the Arizona Democratic office. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is tracking this story. Aaron, this suspect was heavily armed in Arizona.
He sure was. They say he had more than 100 guns, 250,000 rounds of ammunition. And the concern, according to police outside Phoenix, is that he was going to do some kind of a mass casualty attack. Jeffrey Michael Kelly's his name. And police say that scopes, body armor, silencers were also found, along with a machine gun in his car. The 60-year-old retired engineer is accused of hanging political signs lined with razor blades. Investigators say they saw Kelly posting anti-democratic signs in near his home and attaching clear plastic bags containing a white powdery substance labeled biohazard. Now, in Georgia, there was a different kind of plot reportedly foiled. The Secretary of State's office in Georgia saying it stopped a cyber attack aimed at crashing the state's absentee voter website. Officials reporting a spike of 420,000 simultaneous attempts to access that site, and telling our Atlanta station WSB it had all the hallmarks of a foreign attack, George.
So many different kinds of threats out there. Okay, Aaron, thanks very much. Michael?
All right, thank you, George. We're going to go overseas now to the war in Ukraine. U.S. officials now say North Korean troops are in Russia to help in the fight against Ukraine. Our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, has more on this developing story. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Michael. Russia has lost an astonishing amount of soldiers in its war with Ukraine. More than 500,000 dead or wounded, now turning to its ally North Korea for help.
This morning, you can see them in this video circulating online, what appears to be North Korean soldiers at a Russian training site. A sign says the White House of desperation and weakness on the part of Vladimir Putin.
This is an indication that
he may be even in more trouble than most people realize.
The White House confirming that some 3,000 North Korean soldiers left Wonsan, North Korea in early or mid-October and traveled by ship to Vladivostok, Russia, then spreading out to multiple Russian military bases. And the South Korean government and Ukraine fear thousands more may be on their way.
Intention is to participate in this war on Russia's behalf. That is a very, very serious issue.
The administration says they are consulting with allies to see how to respond, but it is clear evidence of the strengthening relationship between Russia and North Korea. Kim Jong-un already providing Russia with arms and munitions for the war in Ukraine.
That he has to farm out the fighting to a foreign country, I think speaks volumes about how much his military is suffering and how uncertain he believes, how untenable he believes his situation is.
The White House is also worried about what kind of payback North Korea wants for these soldiers, certainly anything that advances their military technology. Robin?
All right, Martha, thanks to you for your reporting. Now to breaking news overnight. Striking Boeing workers have rejected the company's latest contract offer. The vote comes as the aircraft maker reports a multi-billion-dollar loss in its most recent quarter. Trevor Ault joins us with those details. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, Robin. So this strike has already been going on for 6 weeks. It's cost Boeing billions. This is the manufacturing union. There's 33,000 members, and overnight they voted 64% to reject this most recent offer from Boeing, a 35% raise over the course of the 4-year contract and a $7,000 bonus. This is what they've rejected. The union has said they want a 40% raise over 4 years, and they want their pensions reinstated. Now, with this strike ongoing, Boeing has already announced plans to lay off 17,000 workers. That's 10% of their global workforce. And on an earnings call on Wednesday, the company announced more than $6 billion in losses, with executives saying they expect the company is going to continue bleeding cash over the course of the next year. Now, Boeing is still under an FAA-mandated manufacturing slowdown, with more inspections added after that door plug blew off an Alaska Airlines flight earlier this year. The CEO says public trust has eroded in the company. They have made serious mistakes, and there needs to be a culture change, but their machinists are still not going back to work. Guys?
Trevor, thanks very much. Coming up, the E. coli outbreak at McDonald's linked to its quarter pounder, with the CDC warning there will be more cases.
Plus, what the L.A. District Attorney is saying now about the Menendez brothers.
And Liam Payne's father in Argentina helping investigators determine what happened.
The streets were damp for just a second in New York City, but I'll tell you, they're dry
party.
for the party.
We got a party.
Yep.
WNBA champions. We'll tell you about it coming up. Welcome back to GMA. Taylor Swift on the final leg of her Eras tour. She's in New Orleans this weekend, and she is inspiring her fans. She's inspiring her fans, Michael, to turn those, those tiny souvenirs into big business. And we're going to have that story in our next hour.
We are also following a lot of headlines right now. 12 days into the final votes for the White House. Vice President Harris took part in a primetime town hall last night. She called Donald Trump a fascist who fans the flames of hate, following on the warnings of former Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley and retired Marine General John Kelly, who both said Trump fits the definition of a fascist. The former president last outed Kelly, his longest-serving White House chief of staff, who also said that Trump praised Adolf Hitler and wants to rule like a dictator. Also, at least 5 people were killed and nearly 24 injured in an attack on a state-run aerospace company in Turkey. No group has claimed responsibility, but Turkey's defense minister suggested a militant group, the Kurdistan Workers' Party, was behind the attack. Turkey launched dozens of airstrikes on the group in Iraq and northern Syria.
Plus, the New York City Police Department is now investigating a viral caught-on-camera car crash as a possible insurance fraud scam. Experts say stage accidents cost insurers billions every year. And this morning, we're celebrating the life of sprinter Julia Hawkins, who started running after her 100th birthday and then set 2 world records in a 100-meter dash, blazing a path for older runners while competing with her trademark flower behind her ear. Hawkins was 108 years old. Look at her.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible indeed. And we've got a lot more ahead, including rollbacks at big retailers where you can get an inflation-free Thanksgiving meal. That is all coming up. But now we're going to turn to the investigation into the E. coli outbreak at McDonald's linked to its Quarter Pounder. One person has died and at least 49 people are sick across 10 states, with the CDC warning there will be more cases. Mola Linga is outside McDonald's in Denver, Colorado with the latest. Good morning, Mola.
Well, good morning, Michael. Yeah, health officials expecting the number of E. coli cases to grow as the FDA investigates whether other businesses besides McDonald's around the country also might be impacted.
This morning, health officials say they expect the number of sick people to grow in the deadly McDonald's E. coli outbreak as the first lawsuit is filed by a man in Colorado.
In food products, it can spread easily, especially when, for example, in this case, we have exposures or confirmed disease in folks who live in a wide geographic area.
So far, there have been 49 confirmed cases across 10 states, ranging in age from 13 to 88. At least one person has died and 10 others hospitalized. Preliminary information from the FDA indicates the slivered onions on the Quarter Pounder are a likely source of contamination. McDonald's said the onions came from one supplier. Overnight, Taylor Farms issuing a recall for its onions, but telling Bloomberg that was out of an abundance of caution, and it has not found traces of E. coli yet. It's unclear if the recall is linked to the outbreak investigation at McDonald's, but Taylor Farms is an onion supplier for the fast food chain. McDonald's removing the Quarter Pounder from their menu in the states affected by the outbreak. That's about 20% of McDonald's in the U.S. We went to a drive-thru here in Denver, Colorado.
Hello, can I get a Quarter Pounder, please? I'm sorry? You don't have Quarter Pounders? No. Okay. All right, thank you.
The president of McDonald's saying customers do not need to worry about other burger-related menu items.
Other beef products at McDonald's, including the cheeseburger, hamburger, Big Mac, McDouble, and the double cheeseburger, are not impacted.
Well, that one death occurring in Mesa County, Colorado. Public health officials here saying that the victim was elderly with some underlying health conditions, and that may have further complicated their E. coli illness, guys.
Okay, well, thanks very much. We're going to turn now to the Menendez brothers. The Los Angeles District Attorney says he plans to announce his decision on a possible resentencing by the end of the week. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman is in Los Angeles with that story. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. LA's DA has recently said that his office has a moral and ethical duty to review the new evidence in this case, including more information about the alleged abuse by their father. And the supporters of the brothers, who've never denied that they murdered their parents, have argued that this possible resentencing is justice 35 years in the making.
This morning, that highly anticipated decision on resentencing the Menendez brothers for the shotgun murders of their parents is imminent, with LA's district attorney announcing a definite answer is just a day away.
As I said about 10 days ago, I said I would make a decision within 10 days or so. I plan to have a decision by the end of this week.
DA George Gascon, who is currently running for re-election, opted to reevaluate Lyle and Eric Menendez's case earlier this month in light of new evidence, and is now facing that looming deadline that could free the infamous brothers.
If the DA poses a recommendation, that is going to be read by the judge during his hearing on whether or not this evidence does rise to the level that there needs to be some alternate relief, either a resentencing or a new trial.
The two men, now aged 56 and 53, have been in prison for nearly 35 years for the 1989 murder of their millionaire parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, buying shotguns and shooting them at point-blank range in their Beverly Hills home. Their attorneys at the time arguing the two young men had been sexually abused by their father, Jose.
They were just children who could have been protected and were instead brutalized in the most horrific ways.
Kitty's sister, 92-year-old Joan, arguing that the gravity of her nephew's claims of sexual abuse used in their defense wasn't understood at the time and was suppressed in their second trial.
The truth is, Lyle and Eric were failed by the very people who should have protected them.
This as much of the family of the Menendez brothers from both sides presented a united front pleading for their release.
They would be called cold-blooded killers, left to rot in jail.
They are survivors and deserve a chance to rebuild their lives.
But the brothers' uncle, Milton, has been vocal in his opposition, believing the pair should remain in prison.
Now, there is a hearing scheduled for late November, which might see the brothers freed in two possible ways. The first is new evidence, including a letter Eric says he wrote detailing alleged sexual abuse by their father before the murders. And the second is a California law that allows for the release of prisoners who've already served long sentences and are no longer threats to the public. Guys.
So many people are watching this, Matt, so closely. Thank you so much. Now, with a closer look at the final days of One Direction star Liam Payne, Nightline anchor Juju Chang is here. I know you've been following this so closely, Juju.
We sure have. You know, the thing is, those final days for Liam Payne were all spent inside the hotel in Argentina. Investigators are now questioning hotel workers and witnesses who say they saw him acting erratically in the hours before he fell to his death. The question now is, did the drugs found in his system affect his mood or his state of mind?
This morning, Argentinian officials raiding the hotel where former One Direction member Liam Payne died as part of an ongoing investigation into the circumstances of the singer's death. Payne, who traveled to Argentina after his son's death, spotted on the balcony of the hotel room where his son had been. The prosecutor's office saying he expressed his willingness to testify about everything he knows about his son's life that could help the investigation. We can live. As the probe into Payne's death unfolds, the prosecutor's office not releasing the body to his family until an autopsy test and results are complete. The story of my life. This as Payne's girlfriend, Kate Cassidy, penned an emotional tribute saying that just a few weeks ago he wrote a note to her that said, "Me and Kate to marry within a year. /engaged and together forever 444. His death calling to question, what is the price of fame?
He wanted to be a singer. He didn't talk about fame to me. He talked about wanting to be a singer. But I'm just a no one with nothing to...
Mary Byrne, a classical singer, competed against One Direction on The X Factor.
But that was when I ruled the world. The love he showed for every one of his, roommates that we were all together will always stick in my mind.
But life after One Direction turned the spotlight toxic for Payne. A trashed hotel room, drug paraphernalia, the disturbing autopsy results. State police say these are all clues leading investigators on a hunt for even more answers.
Now, preliminary testing confirms that Liam had the party drug pink cocaine in his system, which is a mix of ketamine and other drugs like ecstasy or meth. He also had benzos and crack in his system, and they also found an improvised aluminum pipe in his room. Of course, police are trying to track down the source of all of those drugs and much more. Of course, we'll have much more on Impact by Nightline tonight. One Direction, Liam Payne's final days. It's streaming now on Hulu.
Just sad case.
It's really sad.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Juju.
We're back now with our play of the day. The party in New York City this morning honoring the WNBA champion Liberty with the ticker tape parade. Fit for champion, Rhiannon Alley. You're already on the parade route. You couldn't wait. I know you wanted to be there. Good morning.
Fans are lining the streets here on Broadway, known as the Canyon of Heroes. As this parade is just moments away from starting, they will come right up this street to celebrate the first WNBA championship in over 50 years. The New York Knicks last did it in 1973, but today it is all about the ladies here in Manhattan. Let's go back to how this all started. Game 5, what a thriller in overtime as New York won it in Brooklyn over the Minnesota Lynx Sunday night on their home court there. Finals MVP Jon Karl owned the night and 3 of the 5-game series along with superstars Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. This parade, starting in just moments, will go till about noon today. Then it is free for fans, by the way. The ceremony afterwards at City Hall, they will give the team the keys to the city. Then tonight, there will be a huge party at the Barclays Center where they won that Game 5. That is for the fans. And if fans need an excuse to head out to the parade today, the Liberty posted this. It's a kind of get out of jail free card or a sick note that they could give to their bosses. It says if you have any concerns about your employee missing the work today to go to the parade, you can send any of those concerns to Big Ellie. That is the beloved mascot of the New York Liberty. Ellie is expected to be here in this parade. We are keeping our eye out for her, along with all these superstars as well. Now, once the parade is finished in a couple of hours, it will be up to sanitation to clean it all up because they have 2,000 pounds of confetti that will be dumped on the streets of New York. So they have 13 trucks, 350 workers will clean it all up. This is the first championship for parade for one of their local teams since 2012 when the New York Giants won the Super Bowl. Now, the first ticker tape parade in New York was all the way back in 1886. That ticker tape parade was to honor the dedication of the Statue of Liberty, which is a pretty cool moment because, of course, the team is named after the Statue of Liberty. Guys?
Coming full circle like that. You have yourself a good time, Rhiannon. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
If I leave work down, thank you, Rhiannon. If I leave work down, could I use that note from Ellie?
Yeah, as long as you can bring Ellie back with you, because that'll get you free out of jail. Big Ellie will, yeah. Have my conversation with Juliana Margulies, Peter Gallagher, and Delia Ephron about bringing her memoir, Left on 10th, to Broadway.
I will, you too.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m., 12 days to go. Overnight, Kamala Harris takes questions from voters at a town hall and sounds the alarm after Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a man Trump once praised, said he believes the former president fits the definition of a fascist.
Rollbacks, where you can get an inflation-free Thanksgiving meal. Plus, where to save right now on the toys on your little one's list. And is it best to buy now or wait for Black Friday?
Generation M, helping women thrive during menopause. Dr. Jessica Shepard on her new book that aims to be a guide for women and what she says is the key to getting through it.
Celebrating an out-of-this-world composer. John Williams premiering his documentary.
Music is enough for a lifetime, but a lifetime is not enough for music.
And the stars shining bright on the red carpet, honoring the legend. First look at the top stories breaking at 8. We start with the race for the White House. Vice President Harris took part in a primetime town hall last night. She called Donald Trump a fascist who fans the flames of hate, following on the warnings of former Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley and retired Marine General John Kelly, who both said Trump fits the definition of a fascist. I'm going to go back to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce in Philadelphia. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning again, George. Well, in these final days, Kamala Harris is really ramping up and escalating her argument that she feels Donald Trump is unfit and a danger to democracy. As you said, overnight, Kamala Harris saying flatly, yes, she thinks Trump is a fascist. Overnight at a town hall in Pennsylvania, Vice President Kamala Harris saying she agrees with Donald Trump's longest-serving chief of staff, retired four-star Marine General John Kelly, when he says Trump fits the definition of a fascist.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted.
Kelly telling the New York Times Trump repeatedly praised Adolf Hitler, that he puts personal loyalty above loyalty to the Constitution, and that he has an affinity for dictators, claims that the former president's campaign has denied.
Certainly, the former president is in the far right area. He's certainly an authoritarian, admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
The vice president warning that if Trump returns to the White House, people like General Kelly won't be there to stand up to him.
I think of it as he's just putting out a 911 call to the American people. Understand what could happen if Donald Trump were back in the White House. And this time, we must take very seriously those folks who knew him best and who are career people are not going to be there to hold him back.
And when pressed by those undecided voters overnight in that town hall to define more her policies and positions, Harris often turned to defining Trump instead, eager to make clear the stark choice the voters are now facing. Michael?
All right, Mary Bruce, thank you for that. And we're going to go back to Rachel Scott in Atlanta with the latest on former President Trump's campaign. Good morning, Rachel.
Michael, good morning to you again. From battleground Georgia, this state seeing record numbers in early voting. Former President Donald Trump campaigning in this state did not mention those explosive allegations from his own former chief of staff, John Kelly, who labeled him a fascist with no regard for the Constitution or the rule of law. But he did take to social media to respond for the first time. Despite praising John Kelly in the past, Trump now calling him a lowlife and a bad general, insisting that he completely made up those stories. One person that Donald Trump is still praising is billionaire Elon Musk, who we know is spending millions of dollars in these critical battleground states in support of Donald Trump, including handing out million-dollar checks to registered voters who signed his super PAC's petition in support of the Constitution. Well, overnight, we learned from sources that the Justice Department has sent a letter to Elon Musk warning him that he could be violating federal law. Of course, it is illegal to pay anyone to register to vote. As for Trump, he has stops out west today in Arizona and Nevada, Robin.
Busy time. All right, Rachel, thank you. Going to turn now to the housing market. For the second consecutive year, sales of existing homes are on track for the worst year since 1995. Elizabeth Schulze is breaking it down for us, and you got to tell us about this one silver lining as well. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, Robin. There always is a silver lining, but this new data really does reflect how challenging the housing market is right now, especially for those first-time buyers. Home sales dropped 3.5% in September compared to a year ago. Overall, sales are now on track for their worst year since 1995. And even with sales dropping, home prices are up. The typical home in the U.S. cost about $404,000 in September. That's up 3% from last year, with prices higher in every region of the country. So why is affordability so tough right now? Well, there are just not enough homes for sale to meet the demand from buyers out there, and mortgage rates have stayed high. So people who locked in those ultra low rates, they do not want to move. As for that silver lining, homes are staying on the market for a little bit longer right now. So buyers who are able to step off of the sidelines might have a little bit more room. You could ask for the credit from the seller or even try to negotiate those prices down, guys.
We'll keep that in mind, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, coming up in our GMA Morning menu, the big retailers competing for your dollars by charging you less of them to serve a traditional Thanksgiving dinner.
Also ahead, Generation M, the new book that gives women a guide to managing the symptoms of menopause.
Plus, the new movie celebrating John Williams, the composer behind such instantly recognizable theme music for Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, so much more. That's all coming up in Pop News. Now let's go to Lara with Sam and Tori Johnson.
And we're shopping.
We're talking luggage.
Yeah, we're talking luggage. We're talking lots of deals and steals. With this lady, Tori is back with some amazing savings, plus an added subtraction. No shipping, everybody.
What? What?
That's what's coming up on GMA. We'll be right back.
Gotta go. Taking this with me.
And welcome back to GMA. Tomorrow, Nicole Scherzinger is here live. She's getting raves on Broadway in a new version of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Sunset Boulevard. We are looking forward to that. And now we're going to go to Michael.
Hey, George, thank you. Now to major retailers like Target and Walmart slashing prices just in time for the holiday season. Rebecca Jarvis is here to break down what's behind these price rollbacks and how you can save on everything from your Thanksgiving meal to your holiday shopping list. Good morning, Rebecca.
Nice to see you, Michael.
Great to see you as always. The end of Thanksgiving just around the corner. Yes. Time flies, right?
It really does.
And but some companies, they're competing for your dollar.
They are. And part of the reason for this is that prices had been going up pretty dramatically because of inflation. Now, the good news is they're starting to go lower.
And who has the best deals?
So we found some really solid deals on that Thanksgiving dinner as you're planning ahead. Walmart, you can do all the groceries for less than $7 a person. Aldi,
wow.
Yep. $4.70 a person, and Amazon $9.73 a person. I also challenge our viewers. They probably can find their own way of doing it, and let me know where you find the way of doing it for the cheapest.
That sounds really cheap.
Totally.
Okay, and you know, Target, they're rolling back their prices on over 2,000 items, which, you know, other big box stores are getting to those price drops as well. So what are some of those best deals?
Yeah, and they're all competing because Black Friday is right around the corner with Thanksgiving. So they're rolling out the deals now, and they'll roll out more then. At Target, we found this Lego Ford GT car model set. You might like that one when you were a kid, Michael. It was $120. Now it is $95, and this is a big fan favorite in my home, the Bluey fire truck. truck, it was $25. Now it's $20. BJ's also has its own early Black Friday sale, and we found this Cuisinart stand mixer. It was $199. Now it is $149. Costco also in on the sales action. We found this Ninja air fryer. It was $150. Now it is $120. So you see all of these retailers, they know we all have budgets, and you want to spend that budget well, and they want to get you as soon as possible with their deals.
Now, as soon as possible, with that being said, with all these deals that we see, dive in now, or do you wait?
So, we've covered this for so many years now, and Retail Me Not has crunched the numbers on it. If you really want something, let's say there's a toy this season that you just have to have, okay, maybe buy that now. But for TVs and a lot of the big electronics, Black Friday is still the time to buy those big ticket items.
Plus, if you want a toy, the kids want it now.
Well, of course they do.
Of course.
Mommy, I want it.
Exactly. What are you going to do? You're going to buy it. Hey, Rebecca, thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate you. Now it's time for Pop News. Hey, Lara.
Hey, get over here, Michael. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to begin this morning with Oscar-winning composer John Williams. There's the music, the man who created the soundtracks of our lives, really, for iconic movies, including Star Wars, Indiana Jones, E.T., and so many more. Well, he is now the subject of a new documentary. It sounds amazing, guys. It's called Music by John Williams. It premiered at the AFI Film Festival in Los Angeles, and the stars were out to honor Williams. We're talking J.J. Abrams, Steven Spielberg, Ron Howard, his daughter Bryce. They all showed up to support the music legend. The film tells the story of Williams' rise to fame. He was the high school band leader, of course he was, and then he went on to create those iconic Hollywood theme songs, and now he conducts symphony orchestras worldwide. The film features interviews with George Lucas and Spielberg about their famous collaborations. Music by John Williams begins streaming November 1st on Disney+, and I know that Will has a really great interview tomorrow about this film. Looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
So exciting. What a legend. What a legend. And now to another legend that you are friends with. I love saying that. The one and only Carol Burnett.
Had dinner with her.
Yes, you did. Drop that name, baby.
Jealous.
Drop that name. So jealous. 91 years young, and she is gracing the cover of Variety's Power of Women issue. That is amazing, right? And in a terrific interview, I can't recommend it enough, inside the magazine, she says so many amazing things, but she talks about her Emmy-nominated role on Kristen Wiig's Palm Royale, and guys, she says it will most likely be her last acting job, so enjoy it.
Wow.
She did have one caveat, though. She says if the creator of one of her favorite shows, Breaking Bad, did a spin-off, another spin-off, she would jump at the chance. I love that idea. She also plans to stay busy, not to worry. We'll still hear from her at least, and see her in a new series dropping on TCM this September. She dives into the stories behind classic films on this show. I love this idea. She's also co-writing and producing 2 other projects. She won't give any details on those yet because she's very superstitious. She doesn't want to jinx them. And one other revelation in this article, she says she had a very active role in ending the legendary Carol Burnett show after its 11th season because she did not want the network to be the one to pull the plug. She says they started to get repetitive, she felt, in sketches. She wanted to be the one to say goodbye on her terms.
Good for
you
her.
can check out, you can check out Carol Burnett's fascinating interview. It's in Variety right now.
Carol Burnett, we can't wait. We have to pull the earlobe.
Everybody,
Carol Burnett.
yes.
Exactly. We're blessed to meet a lot of people. My dinner with her out in LA when I was out shooting the Emmy special, I will never forget that night. She is lovely in every way.
We were all like toast.
She has some stories.
Oh, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And then finally, it's your chance to adopt Ryan Reynolds. In celebration of Ryan's 48th birthday, his best friend, his Wrexham co-chair, Rob McElhaney, wants to make it happen for all of us. Take a look.
If everybody had their own Ryan Reynolds, they could shower him with love and affection. And wouldn't the world be a better place? That's why I've partnered with Best Friends Animal Society for my best friend to rename all of these adorable, adoptable puppies Ryan Reynolds.
That's a funny idea.
So guys, you can get a senior dog named Ryan Reynolds. You can get a cat named Ryan Reynolds. They have kittens, horses, pigs, bunnies. They even have a donkey that is now named Ryan Reynolds. Rob is taking it one step further. He will match all donations to Best Friends dollar for dollar through the end of the month and honor his friend up to $25,000. Happy birthday to Ryan Reynolds.
That's great. Can you imagine being in the park and just yelling Ryan Reynolds and like 30 dogs come running at you?
And great job by Rob.
I actually can't imagine it. I have.
But it's a great job by Rob to match those dimensions, too.
He's a terrific guy.
Yeah.
That's Bob News.
All right, now to Taylor Swift. She kicked off the final leg of her billion-dollar Eras Tour after 3 nights of sold-out shows in Miami. She's gearing up to take on the Big Easy, New Orleans, and it's the smallest souvenirs that's making a big impact at her shows and launching some small businesses. Are you ready for it, New Orleans? Over 150,000 fans expected in the Big Easy this weekend.
Welcome to the Eras Tour.
As Taylor Swift takes on the U.S. and Canada in the Eras Tour final leg. The concerts galvanizing the Swiftie fandom.
I'm not trying to miss out on any of the fun at the Taylor Swift concerts. Let's go get stuff to make friendship bracelets.
Do you guys think I made enough friendship bracelets for the Eras Tour?
Turning the friendship bracelet into the ultimate concert accessory that'll never go out of style.
I have all of these and I'm still making more, so come trade with me in Pittsburgh.
As fans trade and stack bracelets at each show.
The fact that you're getting these traded bracelets from people that you've never met before, I think that really makes it an exciting thing to have this connection between fans.
Inspired by Swift's lyric in her song, You're on Your Own, Kid.
Make the friendship bracelets, take the moment and taste it.
Fans taking that directive to heart.
All of our designs come in a bejeweled box. This is our friendship bracelet kit.
Friendship bracelets becoming big business for Etsy, hitting nearly $7 million in sales in 2024.
This one actually just says Fearless. And we always try to make the colors match the song, match the era.
Taylor Strong, along with her 3 friends, launching their Etsy shop last year. Now they've sold $30,000 in Swift-themed bracelets to date.
It's really not about the money. It's for the community. And it's just another extension off of something that I also already enjoy and love doing, which is crafts and listening to Taylor.
Coral Mack also making a profit thanks to her DIY beading kits.
The response was just overwhelming because so many people needed that little bit of guidance to get started with friendship bracelets.
Helping to inspire a new generation of crafters.
The Taylor Swift trend has made crafting cool again, and I think it's really exciting to learn that you can develop a new skill and you can make things that you can wear and you can express yourself.
Express yourself. And since Taylor kicked off the Eras Tour, friendship bracelets have come back in a big way. Fans get so creative with their designs, their quotes, their styles. We've got a few examples right here. And all of these products are shoppable using the QR code on the bottom of your screen. And keep your paws off, because all of those are coming with me to New Orleans.
Got a lot of trading to do.
I got a lot of trading to do. It's my goddaughter's 16th birthday, and she wants to see Taylor. So.
Look, you've all seen it. 500 times for Robin, 2 for George, 1
for me.
Plus her GMA appearance.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
Here we
we're
go.
Lucky.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
I'll buy him. I'll be like Rob.
Michael.
Yeah, Robin, I love how you blame your goddaughter. Just you want them. They're for you. Come on. Just own up to it. It's okay. Everybody loves Taylor Swift. And we're going to turn now for Deals and Steals, everybody. Our girl, Tori Johnson, is back for day 2 of our free shipping extravaganza.
I like how you say that.
Hey, Tori, good morning. Good morning.
So the bag makes the trip sometimes,
Yeah, it
right?
does.
You travel a lot. These are all from Samsonite. So you're spinning that there, and that's one of the magic about those pieces is that they've got the wheels that spin on all sides for better maneuverability, great durability. These also have some scratch-resistant surfaces. Big options. These come in 3 different sizes from carry-on to checked. So many options from Samsonite today, all slashed in half and
Free shipping, everybody. Yes.
All right, diamonds. I'm so excited
Bling,
about
bling.
this. This is one of my favorites, Ratani. They've been in the jewelry business, and specifically the diamond business, for 25 years. These are lab-grown diamonds, so you get a lot of bang for your buck with these. And we've got a big variety of options. I'm wearing the paperclip half diamond, half paperclip, which I love because it has such variety. We've got the little pendant necklaces, the studs that are classics, tennis bracelets. These are all jewelry box essentials, and today's a good day to treat yourself because because everything is up to 65% off plus
free shipping, everybody.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, Eve Lom, one of the skincare favorites, one of their best-selling products is this one right here. It's a cleanser that's like a balm. So rub your finger on that and see how it turns just really gently. See how it turns just really soft and smooth.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a phenomenal cleanser. They
Smells
sell
great,
one
too.
of those every 30 seconds around the world, have for 35 years. We also have the little capsules. This is cleansing oil that's fabulous for travel because just that little teeny bit, you don't have to take the entire.
You have to take all the whole.
Exactly, it's so smart. Also, this right here, this renewal serum. It's a retinol renewal serum, a repair serum. It's fabulous. Just look for the gold bottle online. Everything up to 60% off, plus free shipping today for really good skincare. Cozy Earth. We've got their best-selling bamboo sheets, and then these are the New Jersey bamboo. So this one's gonna feel like your favorite T-shirt. This is just their classic.
I thought it came from New Jersey. That's why I was like,
sorry.
Okay.
We got all the great colors. The cuddle blanket. Imagine you cuddled up with Enzo on the couch with the little cuddle blanket, so super soft.
My boy.
Everything from Cozy Earth today, slashed in half, and free shipping.
That's right.
Okay, take a seat here to feel how good that QB feels behind your back. So you can use that chair, couch, even in one of your cars.
I can use it in our chairs over there.
Yes, you can.
Great.
It just improves your posture, alleviates back pain, makes you feel good. $20 and free shipping. And then take a seat in the big.
I've been looking forward to this all morning long.
Yeah. So inside that beanbag chair, Michael, is a bed. So if you needed to suddenly have a slumber party, you've got inside here opens up to that. We've got queen to king size, and then put your foot on the footstool. That turns your beanbag chair into a recliner.
Oh, I didn't know that was a footstool. I thought it was Gary's bed.
Everything slashed in half and free shipping from Corduroy.
Free shipping, everybody. Tori, thank you. This is the most relaxing segment I've ever had. And we partner with these companies on these great deals. You can get them all on our website. We'll be right back.
Good morning, America.
That was Juliana Margulies and Peter Gallagher, the stars of the new play Left on 10th, which just opened on Broadway. It's based on Delia Ephron's best-selling memoir about love, loss, and second chances. And I got the chance to talk to her, Juliana, and Peter ahead of the premiere.
I go online.
Welcome.
And my breath catches in my chest until I hear 3 little words. You've got mail.
Known for the romantic comedy classic You've Got Mail, for Delia Ephron, it's life imitating art, as her best-selling memoir, Left on 10th, is brought to the stage as a Broadway play. Left on 10th. This is your story.
I know.
On Broadway.
It's madness. It's insane. It was a dream too big to have. That's the truth.
At its heart, Left on 10th is a story rooted in love and second chances. After losing her husband Jerry to cancer, Delia finds herself meeting a man named Peter.
I lost my beloved husband of 35 years, and I was so lost. And then Verizon crashed my internet, and I went crazy. So I wrote about it, which is what I always do. And it was in the New York Times, and I got an email from Peter. And he had lost his wife, and we started falling in love on email. And because I wrote You've Got Mail, I thought, oh my God, I've fallen into my own romantic comedy.
Text as soon as you get in.
I will, you too. It was fun.
Yes, it was.
But just 4 months after meeting Peter, her love story interrupted by the same cancer diagnosis her sister, writer, and filmmaker Nora Ephron passed away from in 2012. The mantra, I am not my sister, I am not my sister. You had to say that, you had to believe that, but how did you deal with the duality of the emotions?
The disease I had, AML, which is a fierce leukemia, it presents differently in different patients. And Dr. Robo said that to me from the beginning. You are not your sister. You can have a different outcome. But it was as hard as anything.
Having spent my entire adult life trying to differentiate from Nora, I felt to do so now was a betrayal. My sister was on my mind all the time. I am not my sister. I am not my sister. I miss my sister.
With just a 20% chance of survival, doctors offering Delia a miracle solution, a stem cell transplant. Peter, by Delia's side throughout the brutal treatment and recovery.
When you've had a trauma that big, if you can do something with it, you know, if you can dance it, draw it, paint it, anything you can make something else out of it.
Emmy Award-winning actor Juliana Margulies portrays Delia. It's been a while since you've been on Broadway, and you said this was the play.
This was the play.
What is it?
It's a chance of a lifetime, this role. It's everything. It's funny, it's moving, it's touching, it's so romantic, and it's also painful in a beautiful way. I truly believe that without Peter by her side, I don't know if she would have gotten through this. And there's a beautiful line in the play where I beg him to let me go. And he says no. He says it so simply. And I don't even feel like I'm acting. It just brings me to tears because you realize you have someone on your side and it's worth fighting for. And that's the human connection.
Stage and screen veteran Peter Gallagher plays Delia's husband, Peter.
There's so many people out there struggling with health issues or dealing with the world and its challenges, and then to sort of be telling a story where everybody has a place in it. Everybody sort of in the audience feels seen.
What is it like to know that the people that you're playing, they're sitting in the audience and they're watching?
The fact that they're warm, brilliant, loving people who have really been through it makes you feel absolutely fortunate to be in their company.
It's very different to do a play written by a novelist. But the truth is, because it is so well written, I'm finding it actually a joy to learn.
Why should someone come and see this play? What do you want them to walk out of the door feeling?
A friend of mine was at the show. The show ended, and she was walking behind these two women, and one woman said to the other one, "I feel like I just woke up from the best dream." And I thought, that's it.
And that is it, because I saw it last night, and I did. I walked home feeling like I just woke up from the best dream. And it was beautiful to see Delia there with Peter, her husband, and the way that Juliana and Peter Gallagher play them is just so incredibly magnificent. And she talked about Dr. Robos. That was my doctor as well, Dr. Gail Robos, who was there last night. Amber was with me as well. Gail Robos' parents were there, and to see her on stage and how she was played. But I have to say, the other two actors, I want to get their names right, Kate McLuggage and Peter Francis James, they play multiple characters, and it is one of the most moving, beautiful plays that I've ever seen. Yeah.
Wow. Cannot wait.
It's great. Left on 10th, Broadway until February, and I hope you'll get a chance to see it.
We are back with David Greenberg, author of John Lewis, A Life, a biography of the late Congressman, civil rights leader. Thank you for being here, David.
Thank you.
John Lewis, such a giant in the civil rights movement. What inspired you to tell his story?
Well, this was in the middle of the Trump years that I was setting down to start a new book. Some people were saying, based on my last book, which had been a history of spin, of the White House spin machine, that I should write about Trump. And that was the last thing I wanted to do. And it occurred to me one day there was no biography of John Lewis, and that he would be someone I would want to spend my time with the next several years.
In some ways, an unlikely hero, not the most imposing figure, not a great speaker, yet he inspired people by his example.
Yeah, I mean, when he gets to college, he's at this little Bible college in Nashville, Tennessee. And even there, they describe him as pure hick. You know, he's quiet, reserved, not the first guy to offer a comment. But people came to see he had this sort of inner good judgment and this deep conviction. And I think that the deep commitment to the cause, both to the cause of civil rights, but also to nonviolence, was what led him to emerge as a leader.
One of the things you write about is actually an appearance that John Lewis had on GMA back in 2009, where he met meeting a former white supremacist who assaulted him. We want to show that.
I'm sorry for what happened down there.
Well, it's okay. It's all right. It's almost 48 years ago. It says something about the power of love, the power of grace, and the power of people to be able to say, I'm sorry.
And it says so much about John Lewis.
Yeah, so this was a man who, on the 1961 Freedom Rides, Lewis is just 20 years old, is on a trip to integrate bus travel in the South. In Rock Hill, South Carolina, he steps into the bus station to test the white versus colored, waiting rooms. And this man, Elwyn Wilson, is one who punches him out. He's a young ruffian. He's affiliated with the Klan. 47 years later, right after the Obama inauguration, he finally starts to see the error of his ways and reaches out to apologize. I think for John Lewis, it was a vindication of these ideas of nonviolence, which believe not just that it's a tactical good play, but it can change the heart of your oppressor.
He made this move from idealist, from pacifist, from activist to pragmatist politician. I first met him when he became elected to the House back in the 1980s, and that didn't sit well with a lot of his admirers.
Well, it was tough because when you're a politician, if you want to succeed, you can't always take the stance of utter moral purity. I mean, he remained, I think, to the end, a man of great conviction. He was known as the conscience of the Congress, so nobody ever accused him of selling out. But he did learn sometimes it makes sense to cut a deal. Sometimes it makes sense to accept a bill that's not as good as the one you would ideally want. And he became a very important figure, first to Speaker of the House Tom Foley in those years, and eventually, of course, with Nancy Pelosi, just a core part of the Democratic leadership and a major figure in the Congress.
How does John Lewis's life speak to this moment in the life of our nation?
Well, I think one cause that John Lewis always fought for unrelentingly was the vote. First, he nearly gave his life for the Voting Rights Act in that march in Selma in 1965 when he was beaten by state troopers in Alabama. But then fighting to register blacks to vote in the 70s, leading a group called the Voter Education Project. And in Congress, getting the Voting Rights Act renewed, opposing the Supreme Court confirmation of John Roberts, who he rightly warned would undermine that act. So all his life was protecting the vote, encouraging people to vote, and telling them people nearly gave their life for this cause. Don't let it go to waste.
David Greenberg, thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
John
George.
Lewis' life is out now.
We turn now to a new book that aims to serve as a guide for women as they go through menopause. Dr. Jessica Shepard offers a new plan in Generation M, living well in perimenopause and menopause.
I am leading the way through the menopause maze.
It's a fact of life. All women will experience menopause, but many don't know what that really means, how it will change them, and what to expect.
The topic is something that is often seen as taboo or stigmatized. And even for healthcare providers, there wasn't a lot that was devoted towards educating doctors on menopause. And we really owe it to women to be able to educate them in the best ways.
In her new book, Generation M, Living Well in Perimenopause and Menopause, Dr. Jessica Shepard, a board-certified OBGYN and health advocate, aims to help women thrive during this transition.
The goal of this book is to have knowledge and education towards what is going to be best for me? What are the things that I can implement into my life? What are the things that I would want to ask my doctor? And how can I share my experiences with others?
Dr. Shepard says pay attention to your symptoms. The top complaints and concerns she hears from women are hot flashes, night sweats, mood changes, and sleep disturbances.
There can actually be long-term outcomes that can come from menopause and the decline in estrogen. And those things include decrease in muscle mass, osteoporosis and decrease in our bone mineral density, but also heart disease and Alzheimer's disease.
So the practical guidebook serves as a tool, even encouraging a holistic approach to empower women.
So that can be with your diet and changing how you fuel your body, your exercise regimen, and making sure that you're improving muscle mass.
The book also diving into the topic of hormone replacement therapy.
One of the biggest misconceptions during this time frame is hormones, and are they good for you? Are they safe? And Generation M really focuses a lot on the ABCs of HRT.
Ultimately, she says the key is finding a community and knowing you are not alone in this journey.
I wrote Generation M as a love letter to all women so that they can know that they're not alone, but also not to be afraid of what's coming in the future and to give themselves the best tools so that they can feel themselves and stronger and better as we start to age.
Generation M, Living Well in Perimenopause and Menopause is available right now. Coming up, the cast of the Broadway show A Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong Musical, performs live on GMA.
Welcome back, everybody. We are excited because the cast of Broadway's A Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong Musical, is ready to wow us with their first TV performance. The show is now in performances at Studio 54 on Broadway. And here's James Monroe Iglehart, DeWitt Fleming Jr. in the company of A Wonderful World performing When You're Smiling.
What in blue blazes are you doing? I'm smiling. Lou, I'm talking about a hustle and you talking about a smile.
You know you love it, and they gonna love it too. Cause when you're smiling, oh, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you, bye-bye. When you're laughing, oh, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through.
All right. Cause when you're frowning,
talk about it.
You bring out the rain, so stop your frowning. Be happy again, cause when you're smiling, keep on smiling.
The whole world smiles at you.
You remember this now? Go ahead now, I see you now. Watch out, Lou, now.
Trying to keep up with you, boy.
Now. Oh, you keeping up now.
How you doing so fast?
You right there with me. Oh, I see you shaking.
Finally got it. But with the bop, you know I can't do that. Cause when you're smiling,
keep on smiling. The whole world smiles.
Yes, the whole world smiles. The whole world smiles.
Now let me show you how we do it. Y'all ready? That's it, y'all. Come on, show 'em. Come on.
Got to give a big thanks for that incredible performance to the cast of A Wonderful World. That was incredible. Thank you guys for watching.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
I saw your toe tapping.
Yeah.